Hey Fly Tires, welcome back. I'm Matt. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Now I've got a really simple fish catching pattern for you today. This is one of those, if you've got the materials, it's a piece of cake. What I'm talking about is Randall Kaufmann's Simulator Peacock. Now you might have heard of Randall Kaufmann. He's a pretty famous author and fly fisherman and tyer in the Pacific Northwest. He's got the Kaufmann stonefly and probably his most popular fly, one we all know and love, the Stimulator. Kind of similar to this one we're doing today, but this is the Simulator without the T. Now this is not a real popular fly. I only found it in one book, was Stetzer's Flies, the Best 1000. I didn't see this in any of my other pattern encyclopedias. But it is a pretty simple pattern, and its most unique feature is a clipped palmered hackle. It's not often that we palmer a hackle and then actually trim it, but in this case we do. So again, very simple pattern. I think you're gonna like it. Let's give it a shot. So there's one in the vise, the Randall Kaufmann Simulator. This one, I might have this hackle a little too close together. Let's see if we can spread it out just a little more on this one and see how it does for us. I'm tying this on a size 10. This can be a pretty big nymph. So this is a size 10, 1X long, 1X strong. I'm gonna put down black 70 denier, and I'm gonna take it all the way to the bend of the hook. Now what I do before I put down some goose biots, if I'm doing split goose biots for the tail, I'll cord my thread up just a little bit and put a bump right here. So I'm putting a bump right here. It'll help those goose biots splay out just a little bit, and it doesn't take much. So I got a little bump right there. Now I'm going to take some brown goose biots. Got one of these right here. If you notice, toward the bottom, really thick ones. Toward the end, some really small ones. So you get ones to match the size of your hook. For a size 10, probably somewhere here in the middle. So I'll just take two of these right here, grab them by the tips and snip them off. Now here's the hard part. So we got two biots, both curved the same way. We've got to flip them around. Now it's only hard because I usually drop one, but see those tips are aligned and I've got them splayed out just like I want. So I'm going to lay them down on, get my length right, and then try to put them down on either side of the hook. So that's about the length I want. Make sure I have one on one side of the hook and one on the other. I'm going to flatten my thread back out. It will just help these make it a little easier to wrap these. So a couple of loose wraps back here. Now I'm checking it. Okay, that's what I want right there. Now I can go ahead and secure them with several wraps going back. And if you caught it in where I did, you don't really have to worry about them spinning on you when you get to the back. So those are coming off, and they're spinning a little bit right there. Are they fixable? A little bit. I can just kind of spin it around toward my side and put a couple more locking wraps right here. And then take a look at it. Okay, yeah, that's fine right there. You can either snip off this excess or just bury it. I don't have much, so I'm going to bury it. Now, remember this next tip. We've got three components we're going to put on next, which is peacock herl, and a wire rib, and then a brown hackle. So you'll want to put them on the hook in the opposite order that you're going to wrap them. So first thing we're going to wrap will be the peacock herl, so I'm going to put that in last. So I will do, since the last thing I'm going to wrap will be my rib, I'll catch this in first. I'll do the rib, then the hackle, then the herl. So just a couple of turns right here to secure this. Now some brown hackle. And you can use dry fly hackle on this. We're going to palmer it up, but we're going to trim it. So don't worry necessarily about the size you're putting on, as long as it is a little bit bigger than what you're going to need. It will trim just fine. So this is a little bit thick, and I'm catching in from the thick side, but that's fine. I'm going to spin it around just a little bit so that my hackle is going to be perpendicular when I start the wraps. Okay, I think that's good right there. I'll go ahead and bury this on up here. That stem is going to be a bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Now I've got a little step right there, but we don't have to worry too much because we've got a big, thick peacock herl body. So let's take our thread back here and then catch in the peacock herl. How many? It's up to you. This is size 10. It's a pretty long body. I'm going to do 3, but go 4 or 5. Just do 2 if you want, whatever you want. snip off the brittle ends right there. Let's get this caught in. Okay, so that nice green gold peacock herl. That's why we love it. That's why the fish love it. So I'm gonna catch it in back here to where I'm gonna start the wraps. I'm gonna leave my thread hanging about midway, just in case this herl starts to spread out on me. That thread will help hold it in place. So go ahead and take closely spaced wraps right here with your herl. Just take it all the way up there to about 1 eye length behind the eye. Okay, that's good enough for our body. Let's secure it with 2 thread wraps and then snip off this excess herl. A couple extra wraps for fun. Now let's wrap this hackle. Get my rib out of the way. And I'm going to wrap this hackle the same way I wrapped the peacock herl. Just trying to keep it perpendicular here so that my fibers are going to be coming out perpendicular to the body, but evenly spaced. Your judgment call on how close you want to put these together. Remember, it's not a big bushy hackle dry fly, but we are trimming it, so you can put them pretty close together if you really want. Okay, when you get your hackle up the front, go ahead and secure this off with 2 wraps. And, well, I need to do 3 so it doesn't start unspinning on me, maybe 4. Look at that. All right, now we can snip off this excess right here. And we might have to push some of those back to get our head done, but we'll do that last. All right, so be careful and deliberate with wrapping this wire rib. You're probably going to trap some of these, might be unavoidable, but I'm just zigzagging it through on my way up. This is going to lock in this hackle and the peacock herl and make it a good bit more durable. Okay, so when you get this up to the front, 2 or 3 tight securing wraps with this wire. I'm going to put it forward and make a couple more. Put some tension on my thread so I'm pulling it tight before I spin this off. Now let's clean up the head before we do our trimming. As it is right now, it almost looks like an unwieldy, I think, what was it, a Miller nymph that we did from the Smoky Mountain series? It looks kind of like this. If I can think about it, I'll put a link in the upper right picture of the screen right now, but I will probably forget when I'm editing. But just go back through if you really want to see another one that looks sort of like this. But I need to clean that head up just a little bit more. I like a big head on my nymphs, especially if I'm going to put a big drop of hard gloss for my head. Okay, 4 or 5 turn whip finish here, and then we'll get to the last step in just a second. And the last step is our trimming. This is probably what's going to take you the longest. It's not hard, but you just take your time because we're going to trim this hackle at an angle and all the way around. So it's going to kind of look like a teardrop, sort of like a bullet. Shorter in the back and longer in the front. So let's just do this right here. Take your time again, but again, this might take you a good minute to get this trimmed how you want. Okay, I think that's good enough for government work. So there you have it. The Simulator, Randall Kaufmann Simulator Nymph. General tractor pattern, pretty easy to tie, and quite buggy looking fly. So drop a head cement and this is going in my box. That's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care and we'll see you next time.